So when we're cueing feet in strap series for frog, what do you think is the most important cue for a fundamental body? These are just some examples of fundamental cues. What do you think might be one that we should really get from the jump?
The tailbone maybe? Keeping the tailbone heavy?
I would say that's tertiary, like maybe third. It's important. If they're popping up, yeah, you gotta tell them lie down. Where is the movement technically coming from? The powerhouse. So yeah, we do want to tell them keep the heels together, but you want them engaging from the core to hug the heels.
Would you say like keep your ribs almost like tucked?
Sure, you can say press your ribs down or pull your ribs down. But I want you to actually think, in order for them to keep the heels together, what anatomy do we need to tap into? So we're talking about the powerhouse. They're moving from the powerhouse. So think about your abs. Where are they moving? Are they moving, first of all, from the primary or secondary?
The primary.
Primary. Are they moving from the lateral sides or the center line? Let's just start to spitball now, or pinpointing it. Are they from the sides or the center line?
The center.
Center line. When we move away from the center line, what abdominals do they need to activate from? That's right. Right there, they need to, right there. It's a little crass. So when you start to layer it, so sure, cue the abs and then explain to them that the hug of the heel is to hit those abs, right? It's right there. Now, if you want to look it up in your anatomy book and use the anatomical terms, blah, blah, fine. But it's abs and heels, abs and heels, abs and heels. Does anyone have any other good cues we could add in here? What'd you guys say? Like, you don't have to say kiss the heels together, hug the heels. What else did you guys get out of there? Did any new cues come up?
You do a really good one.
Yeah.
$100 bill between the heels.
Yeah, you guys can write that down, like the money one, the bill.
I always say keep your Starbucks money between your
Nice. Between heels.
Can't lose that.
And not that it's a recommendation, but if you really want to get them to engage their core, a preparatory step can be, okay, your feet are in straps, hug your heels together. On purpose, pull the heels apart. Try and move and frog out like that. Does not feel good, does it? Very destabilizing. Guys, it's so important that when you hug the heels together, you pretend like you're gripping $1 million. You can show them, because naturally on the third or fourth, heels are slip slapping. They're all over the place until they're third or fourth class, because I even remember it was so hard in the beginning. So hard. Okay? Let's flip to the next guy. This one says lower lift. So only lower as far as your back stays anchored. I always say don't throw up, and it makes people laugh. Don't throw your legs up, right? Imagine pressing your spine into clay as the legs lower. Draw your navel inward to resist the legs lifting. Any other ideas for lower lift? They're pretty good. We'll take one more. No, we won't. I think these all get into intermediate. Bicycle, walking. No, we won't do one more. Okay, flip to your trainee workbook and flip to the new repertoire. Feet and straps. Let's go for frog. Reflect on the difference between moving your legs freely and moving with resistance in straps. What sensations arise in your hips, core, and lower back? How does your spinal shape respond? Which leg is more dominant? How can you create symmetry? Let's just talk about it for a moment. When you're doing, because I did it in the mat class I did with Kelsey, he made us do frog in our mat. We didn't have straps, right? So he warmed us up in footwork in a mat class, which is wild and cool. Now we have done frog with ring in our mat classes, right? So let's talk about what's the difference between moving with resistance, having resistance on, first of all, your line of pull is from behind, so we know what that means. right? We have to work a little harder to cross the center line. So how does it make it different?
Provides more stability.
It slows you down. That's where the stabilizing comes from. It slows you down. How do you know if people are cheating? They bam. If the resistance for people is too much, you will see them overcompensate. And as soon as you see your clients overcompensate, break it down, Charlie Brown. Short chain, slower counts, holdings. So if you see your client and that resistance was too much and they bam, okay, hold it, move out for 1, hold the wall. Move out for 2, hold the wall. Move out for 3, hold the wall. Move out for 4, do not lock those knees. Draw in for 4, hold the wall. Short chain and hold. You can do one or the other or both. And where do we do that the most in mat? Double knee stretch. Right? I do want to make a point because it's prevalent in our society, sadly, is cancer patients, they lose their bone density with their chemo and their radiation. And so I have a few clients that are either in recovery or are journeying that, and feet and straps, they have to be on less resistance. There is 0 ways they can do 2 red, and you'll see that they have low tone. It's not just that they're thin. You can actually tell that the bone density is lessened, and that makes them lighter. And they'll just pop right into the sky, right? So you have to change the springs for them, and you never highlight it's because someone is thin, right? I can have a very thin man or woman, and I'll keep them on 2 red to make them work hard. But you can tell if someone is in recovery from illness, right?
What would you go down to? Just
1 red, a red and a white, maybe a red and a blue, work them up. I have a client now, she's in recovery, she's no longer going through treatments, and at best she could do a blue and a white when she came in for feet and straps. You know? So you got to be mindful of some of those things, okay? So how does it feel? What sensations arise? Think about in your own body. So everyone loves feet and straps because they get to leg circle. But if people are leg circling right, they shouldn't love it so much. Right? Like it feels good to wing out. But if you're really pushing through the back of the leg towards and you're circling. So how does it feel in our own bodies? Well, back of the legs can be tight. So it can actually feel tight. I have many a client, they can't straighten their legs even with feet and straps. Help them. Instead of bringing the legs up to the 90, let them be in front of the 90 with bent leg, and you work towards lengthening them out, lengthening them out. Take the dowel, roll out the back of their legs, give them a fascial stretch, and then slowly draw them back to the 90 with your hand in front of their legs. Right? How do we know which leg is the dominant leg for feet and straps? When you as an instructor are watching them do their leg circles and you're memorizing all of their cheats, all of their compensations, how do we know which leg is dominant?
The pull.
The pull, what's happening with the dominant leg? It's moving faster. It's moving, it could just be a microsecond, but it'll move faster. So how do we deactivate the dominant leg? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying strengthen the weak side. That's not Pilates terms. How do we deactivate the dominant leg? Where should they start leading from?
powerhouse, the core.
Sure, but now we're talking about legs, even though the activation is coming from there. If their right leg is going fast and leading, and I say, I need you to turn off your right leg. Turn it off. You're moving too fast with the right. How do we get them to lead with the leg that's asleep? Where is the action coming from? The hips. Usually the circle is coming from the hips. It's the opposite shoulder. If you want them to activate their left leg circles, Throw your right shoulder into the shoulder block. Stabilize your right shoulder, then start to activate from your left side. Okay? You can write it down if you need it, if you want it. We're going to take a look at the next page, feet and straps, lower and lift. What's your favorite one? Clean down, clean up, lower, lower, lower to lift, 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 lift to lower, a hybrid model, 3, 6, 9ths. Who likes what? I like 3, 6, 9ths as a teacher. As a student, I like lift, 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 lower. Any feedback? What do you like?
I think I like lower, lower, lower lift because I like that you have to keep the control on the lift.
Cool. Dana?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I like the lower, lower to lift. It's just like, I think it's just ingrained in me from my mat.
Yes.
So I really enjoy doing it on this now because I feel like I have more control in my body with the resistance.
That's it.
Yeah, I enjoy that one. Just the way it's like, yeah.
Meal?
I agree, I like the lower lift, but cause like, it's like one with us now. But
Yeah.
I know.
It's tattooed. Tattooed.
But I do like the 3, 6, 9ths because I like the challenge of it, and I like needing to like focus for myself, but also like having people focus on that. I feel like would be really fun.
Yeah, and if you're doing 3, 6, 9ths, it's 3 each. Do 3 at 3, 3 at 6, 3 at 9. Also, and there's a reason for that, but we can podcast about that later. But also, as an instructor, 3, 6, 9ths, you've got to be on point. If you're having a tired day and it's your 8 p.m. class, because you've got to be melodical. It's a metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 8, 7. You can't be offbeat or they're going to freak the freak out. Also a great one for hand cues like the clock. Right? All right, so during lower and lift, where do you feel challenged to maintain control? What happens to your breath as the legs move? Are you able to differentiate between movement of the legs and stillness of the spine? Jot down some ideas. The rest of your trainee workbook, the repertoire we've taken, is again homework, but take some ideas and write them down now. It's right behind in the trainee workbook. It's the one for lower lift. There's 3 questions there. On page 2 of the Feet and Strap series. During lower lift, where do you feel challenged to maintain control? What happens to your breath as the legs move? Are you able to differentiate between movement of the legs and stillness of the spines? Spine, 1. But also, what a good cue while you're teaching it. Are you able to differentiate? Can you keep your spine still? Activate from the core. Lift the legs from underneath. Good, what a good cue. And then the rest of the repertoire we did for feet and straps in your workbook, I want you to go through all the other prompts, just like you did last night. Okay, so last night that was one of their homework. Emil was on your trainee workbook. There's questions about reflecting for you. So you just a few couple simple answers. It doesn't have to be much. So I want you to turn to your journaling section under the I believe in myself. Did I give you guys a new face?
No, we just wrote on the same.
You just wrote on the same face. So Emil, you know the face, I believe in myself. I want you to find the face, this guy.
Okay.
In yours, Nisha, it'll be in the journaling section, because it'll be at the back, and theirs, it was near the beginning. You guys had it in your course info for math. It was right at the very beginning.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anisha, because you've got that journal there, you can actually write in your journal that quote, I believe in myself. We're going to do just a quick little exercise in our journaling section, and then we're going to head over to Caddy, okay? So, if you look at I believe in myself, sometimes that's really hard to believe in yourself. It really is. So it has to do with our love languages. Like my love language is words of affirmation. If people give me words and they land, I'm on top of the world. But because my love language is words of affirmation, my default mode is not to believe you when you tell me something I want to hear. So if you tell me, oh, you're really nice, I won't believe you until the 11th time I've heard it, because I'm in defense mode from trauma, right? Well, no longer. I'm just giving an example. Although, like, I remember Magnus told me, it was like after some other guy came along and caught my attention, and I was already with Magnus a couple of years, and the other guy was calling me beautiful and magical, and Magnus goes, but I tell you you're beautiful. I'm like, you have never told me that. He's like, you just haven't heard it.
Mm-hmm.
That sent me right to therapy, because I didn't know if he was gaslighting me and he really had said it, or if this poor man had been saying it for a few years and it was like water falling on cement, right? And I take that as a personal example because that's my love language. Now, if someone who I connect with a sincere heart tells me something and I hear it, I feel indestructible in the most beautiful sense of the way I feel myself. Right? So we all have different love languages, but it's hard to believe in yourself because what works for you will also work against you. Right? So if you guys tell me, Shoni, you're a really great teacher, you're a really great teacher, you're a really great teacher, but I don't actually believe that, I'm never going to hear those words. Right? So when we look at this quote, I believe in myself, I want you to think of what your love language is. So there's 5. There's words of affirmation. That makes you feel loved when people say good things. There's physical touch, and that doesn't have to be intimate. Like you like when you get a hug or a kiss or a massage, or like you like to be caressed, touch. So there's words, there's touch, there's acts of service. You like when people do something for you. Like, oh, you need your tires changed? I can do that. Oh, you need your help with manual? I can do that. Oh, you need the garbage taken out? I can do that. You've got acts of service. Then you have time, when someone gives you their time. And then you have love gifts. When people buy you shit, that's not your birthday. No, we all have all 5. One is usually dominant, one subdominant. Like Nisha gave me a great birthday gift. It was a beautiful surprise. Even though my love language is words of affirmation, that birthday gift trumped because I was so blown away by the generosity, right? And that has stuck with me and that'll never leave. It was one of the best birthday gifts I ever got. And she was so cute about how she surprised me, right? So what, and you guys know I love my birthday. I've already talked about my birthday with him. It's not till December. I've already told Austin I want to dance with him, Jamie. But this is what I mean. Like we all have all 5. But for a moment, I want you to think, what's your dominant one? How is that going to hinder you? Yesterday we did a positive on this page. Now we're doing a not so positive. How is your love language going to hinder you from believing in yourself as being a reformer teacher? And then just take a few minutes to write it on that face. I'm going to stop the video.